Here in section 4.1, we're working on solving 1 and 2-step equations. So what's important in these is that you identify the operation that's occurring in the problem and then do the opposite operation in order to solve. So in this case, we have our unknown x plus 5 equals 2. So if we want to figure out what x equals, we need to do the opposite operation. So we need to subtract 5 from both sides. That's going to cross out 5 minus 5, that's going to zero out effectively, leaving us with x equals, and then we do the operation 2 minus 5, and we get -3. Looking at part B, here we have -2 times x. That equals 14. So here we're trying to figure out what we need to do the opposite operation. So instead of multiplying by -2, we're going to divide by -2. And we do this to both sides. And here, the -2's are going to 1 out. Here, when you divide, it becomes a 1. And so x equals, then 14 divided by -2 is -7. Going on to part C, we have x minus 5 equals -5. In order to undo x minus 5, we need to add 5 to both sides. And so here, x will equal, and in this case, a -5 plus 5 equals 0. So in this equation, x does equal 0, and that's a completely legitimate solution to have. In part D, we're looking at x divided by 5 equals 14. Here, to do the opposite of division, we would multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5, making the 5's on the left cancel, and so x equals 14 times 5, which is 70. And then the last one in question 1, we have 5x plus 10 equals -10. Here we have 2 steps that we're going to have to do, because you're taking 5 and multiplying it by x and then adding 10. We will always look at the addition or subtraction in the problem to tackle first. It's effectively the opposite of PEMDAS. So plus 10 means that we need to subtract 10 from both sides. Now it's very tempting here, but -10 minus 10 does not cancel out. That's actually -20. -10 minus 10 is the same thing as doing -10 plus -10, and that's -20. Now we have 5x equals -20. We divide both sides by 5, since the opposite of multiplication, 5x, would be division. And that's going to be x equals -4, since -20 divided by 5 gives us -4. For all of these, you can always check your work by plugging in x into the equation and making sure that it makes the statement true.